All right, welcome back to our little instruction series that we started for you guys. So on the last one, we did how to remove your jet pump and drive shaft. We also covered some basics on how to reinstall that jet pump. On this one, we're gonna take you through a step-by-step on how to remove the engine if you're pulling it out to be serviced or fixed because you grenaded it or whatever. So follow along, and hopefully by the end of this, you'll be able to pull your own engine. All right, so the tools for this one is gonna be your impact gun, if you have one, a set of your sockets, a set of Allen key sockets, a couple wrenches or ratchets, and some open-end wrenches. You also probably need like a flathead screwdriver to undo some of your clamps and everything else. And then the only other thing you're gonna need is cutters, because on this one, we're gonna also show you guys down the road how to do all your fuel lines. So since we don't care about these fuel lines, we're gonna cut them. If you're gonna save your fuel lines, you're obviously not gonna do that step, but I'm gonna use some cutters to cut all my lines for you because I'm replacing everything anyways. All right, so I'm gonna give you guys a little pro tip. Well, what I think is a pro tip. So I got these cutters. These are for wire. They're at Home Depot for like $7, right? They're large open end cutters. These things cut, these are perfect for if you're gonna do all your oil lines, water lines, fuel lines, everything. They cut straight the first time. They go over the entire thing. Don't put your finger in it, lob it right off. But for $7, totally worth it. Using those side cutters and everything else, you're gonna get like janky looking freaking cuts on your lines. So definitely get big cutters like this. They make like large ones, but these compact ones are great. So again, these are at Home Depot in your electrical aisle, $7, totally worth it. All right, so the first thing that I do is I pull the air box. So it's a little bit different on this one because it's an R&D filter, so it's got like 10 mils on the top or 11 mils, whatever they are. But most of you are gonna have this stock air box. So I'm gonna show you on this one just because we got like a crap ton of parts laying around. When you take this cover off, right? This cover will be on here and you pull these, you flex these tabs and you pull all your tabs. You have a total of 6, 2 on each side, 1 on the front, 1 on the back. So you're gonna pull this off, and then inside here will be a metal guard, your flame arrestor, and these bolts that are gonna hold it on. So you're gonna take these 6 bolts off, and this whole thing will come out. And then after that, you'll be left with a housing. Once you pull the flame arrestor element out of it, there'll be 4 screws, or I'm sorry, yeah, 4 screws. Yeah, 4 screws. 4 screws that hold it on to the carbs, crisscross from each other. Take those bolts out, make sure you don't drop them down the carb throats. If you have a choke and you're worried about it, pull the choke. And if you twist the choke lever a little bit, it'll stay like stuck closed. I guess it wouldn't really matter since you're pulling your engine, and if they drop down there, you're servicing it anyways. But if for some reason you're not going all the way to the bottom end, you're just doing the top end, definitely pull the carb chokes so that if you happen to drop a bolt, it doesn't go down into the bottom end of the engine. Okay, so again, this is the aftermarket intake, but once you pull all that, you'll have to undo these brackets as well. You don't have to do these bottom bolts. If you just undo the top bolts that are bolted into the actual exhaust manifold, you'll be able to pull the whole assembly out. So I'm gonna pull this and then I'll show you the next steps. Okay, so now that you have your air box off, we're gonna remove the carbs. Again, like I said, these are super hard, crappy gray lines, which cause a huge issue. Anybody who's into Sea-Doos knows about the issue, and we covered it in the maintenance video. There's also a strap that holds the fuel line from bouncing around the hull. So undo, or just cut that zip tie out, and then like I said, I'm replacing these lines. So I'm gonna cut the lines, don't cut the fitting. Once you cut the lines, you're going to take a 6 mil Allen key, and there's 2 Allen bolts crisscross from each other. Once you pull those, you're just gonna take the carbs with the actual throttle cable and everything, and you're gonna swing them off into this area right here, so you can proceed with the rest of the uninstallation of the engine. So the other thing is that when you pull these carbs off, there is a fuel pump line that comes off of the engine. It's a pulsar line, so you gotta undo that clamp in order to swing these carbs out of the way. Undo the clamp and just pull the line off it, but be very careful because if you bend the line one way while you're pulling it, you could break that nipple off and then you're gonna need a new part for your carbs. So be pretty gentle with it. This one's actually rock hard, so I'm gonna cut it off anyways. But if yours is still pliable and you feel like you can still use it, you can use it. I know it has like a pre-bent manufactured line to it, but if you make it so that the line is sweeping and not very tight, I would replace that line. When you replace the line, just make sure it's not folding over on itself. Like I said, you want a nice sweeping angle so that it's working at its optimal pressure. But like I said, this one's very hard, so I'm not even gonna attempt to reuse it. If your line is good, don't force this off. If you break the nipple, you need new carb parts. So now we have the carbs off, we'll move on to the next step. All right, so if you're only doing a top end on this, you need to take some type of rag, and you need to shove the rag into the carburetor actual RV cover holes, so that when you're removing your bolts, especially in your exhaust, they have like lock washers. If you go to remove it and it drops in, again, you're gonna be searching either to try to get it out of your bottom end or taking your bottom end apart. So if you're just doing a top end on this, definitely pull the, when you pull the carbs, definitely put a rag in the RV cover so that you don't have to worry about debris or anything getting in your bottom end.
Another pro tip.
Pro tip. Pro tip. All right, so now our next step is we're gonna remove the exhaust. I take this entire top piece off where it breaks off of the clamp off and into one piece. So I'll unbolt it from the cylinders and pull the manifold with the pipe. So in order to do that, first, you're gonna have to cut away all these zip ties, remove all these lines, which again, I don't care about because I'm replacing all of them. I'm not gonna cut the 1/2 inch line just because the 1/2 inch line is perfectly fine. If you wanna replace it, replace it. But your next step right now should be removing all the lines so you can pull the exhaust off. And then you're gonna have to go in here with your 6mm Allen key. There's 2 bolts that are holding the exhaust bracket on, and then there's a 13mm that's holding the exhaust bracket to the actual exhaust. So remove that first, and then you're gonna sneak down in here and you're gonna find wherever this clamp has its nut. That's an 11mm nut down there. You'll loosen the nut, kind of separate the clamp a little bit, and then move on to removing your exhaust. There's a total of 8 of them. There's 2 on the sides, 2 on the bottoms, 2 up top. So there's a total of 8. And then once that's off, you'll push the exhaust off to the side. We'll show you how to do it, but I'm just explaining to you how to remove it. We'll push the exhaust off to the side so it separates from the cylinders, and then this whole pipe should be free to remove. So I'll go ahead and I'll finish unbolting my bracket and my lines and these bolts, and then we'll show you how to remove it from the actual engine. Okay, so I made a mistake in the beginning of the video. That's not an 11mm, it's a 13mm. Sorry, it's my first time. Once you have the nut off, you can rotate it to where you have the T-bolt up on top. So you're gonna separate the T-bolt, right? And you're gonna try to just walk this clamp up so that it's not holding your pipe together anymore. Okay, so it should look like that. And now you see all this red RTV, which is kind of how it's supposed to be, but there's a lot here. Now that everything's loose, you have it unbolted from your cylinders and everything, we kind of just take the pipe and we'll hook onto the top and we'll just try to separate like that, okay? So once the pipe's out and it's loose, you just angle it, walk it out. And then if you saw our maintenance video,
oh,
it's fine.
A pisser.
It does have a small pinhole in the Welch plug, so it's gonna have to be repaired just like we thought. But if you didn't see our man, it smells, huh?
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Terrible.
It smells terrible. When you pull this pipe off, definitely check this Welch plug to see if it's leaking. If it is, have it TIG welded. All right, now that we have our pipe off, this is still bolted onto there, so we're gonna have to address that. Those are 6mm Allen keys. There's one in the front, one in the back, so we'll remove those. But now to remove those and gain access to it, I'm gonna remove my temperature sensor wire. I'm gonna tuck it in between my other wires so I can have some room. I'm gonna take my spark plug wires off, put them back on the box. I'm gonna remove these rear lines, flathead screwdriver, right? If you are unsure of where these go after you're done with this, mark them. But there's water diagrams and everything you can look up online. It's pretty easy. So we'll remove that. So now our oil lines are off. Then we're gonna go after this clamp back here that's holding the exhaust on. Okay, so we're gonna loosen that before we can go after those 6mm Allen keys that are holding the exhaust onto the engine. So we're gonna remove that, loosen up that exhaust, and then we'll move on to our next step. All right, now that we have the 6mm bolts off of the exhaust, I loosen that clamp because I'm gonna pull all this exhaust and get it powder coated. If you're not gonna do anything with your exhaust, you don't have to loosen that clamp. You just loosen the bolts and you can pull the engine with it out. One tip I will say, like, this is a oil injection delete. So if you're gonna do, if you have your oil injection in place, crimp off these lines before you cut them or remove them, wherever you wanna do, or just loop them together so that you don't have a crap ton of oil spilling out, because you will have a crap ton of oil spilling out. So now that we did that, we're gonna remove the front mag plug. Okay, we're gonna tuck it out of the way so we don't accidentally damage it if we lift the engine out. And then if you look directly down the side where your carbs were, there's a 10mm bolt that's holding your positive terminal onto the starter, so you're gonna remove that. And then you're gonna remove the 13mm bolt that's in the back on both sides, and a 13mm bolt that's on the front. And then I'll show you what I do to get the ground cable out, which will be your final connection before you can pull it completely out of the ski.
All right, Sailor, we're rolling.
All right, so now that we have our exhaust loose, our engine mounts loose, I'm gonna show you how I remove it. All right, so I stand on the ski. Make sure your PWC stand is, PWC, what the fuck? Make sure that your ski stand is good to go. So you undid every single thing except for the ground, which is tucked underneath the starter. You can reach in here probably and get it with an extension, but what I do is I pick up the motor and I tilt it up so I can remove the 13mm bolt that's grounding it out, and then I'll put it flat back down and I'll lift it out. So I'll grab it by the exhaust. Okay. Ooh, you hear that?
She's a wet one.
And then before you do this, fold over a rag wherever you're gonna put it on the hull, so you're not scraping up your hull, right? Kind of just, I grab by the exhaust and the back housing. Now, the only thing left is going to be, oh, I walked away with my rag. The only thing left is going to be the cylinder drain back. So if you come over on this side, here's your cylinder drain backs. These are pretty tough to get to if you left your exhaust in. So we're gonna replace this. I'm gonna end up cutting these, but cut these off or pull them if you're not replacing it. And then at that point, you can step over the side ski, pull the whole thing over and put it on a stand. That's how you pull a freaking engine, bro.
Do you even squat, bro?
The man way.
Do you even squat, bro?
No, I just used my back. Okay, so now that your engine's out, there's a couple things to check over. Number one, well, you could check it over without pulling the engine, but whatever. Number one, if your pipe looks like this, looks like Barney got a suntan or like a sunburn, no bueno. This pipe actually obviously got way too hot, so from here, I'm gonna look for a blockage. This thing's trashed, so I'm glad we checked all that. So this obviously got hot, so you should be checking for blockages, which is why you should be replacing all your lines anyways if you're doing this. It's like 60 bucks and you should just do it.
Just do it! Make your dreams come true!
Check over like your motor mounts, sorry, engine mounts. Check over your engine mounts, kind of give them like just like a little nice firm pull. Make sure that the actual rubber top is not separating from the mount, because it does happen. Other than that, you are clear to start rebuilding your engine, or actually if you were doing a top end, you would have never pulled that. You would have just stopped at the exhaust, done your top end, and been done. Because it's entirely possible to do it while it's in the ski. So from here, if you're rebuilding an engine, like I've said 100 times before in our videos, if you're going to spend all the money, which is like shit nowadays, it's like damn near $1,000 to $1,200 just for parts, cranks, counterbalance, top ends, all that other shit. If you're doing a full engine, you should be rebuilding these carbs. We have a DIY video on how to rebuild the carbs in the raves. Make sure you rebuild the carbs, especially if you had some type of failure. You have to go through your whole fuel system and everything that was in that engine to make sure it doesn't happen again. So, once you go through all that, I guess we could do a video for you guys on how to paint an engine if you're not gonna go through the trouble of B-blast and everything like we do. If you want that, let us know, we'll try to do it. But that's it. That's how to pull your engine. Like I said before, last week we did how to pull your jet pump and your drive shaft. So with these videos combined with how to rebuild your engine and your carbs and everything else, you should be able to do an entire restoration without paying my ass. So, as always, thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you on the next one.